This podcast is brought to you by the Alien Soda Company, your connection to pop culture and paranormal themed merch. AlienSodaCompany.shop for all things out of this world.
All right, guys, so we're going to be talking about the Hinterkaifeck Murders today on the Paranormal Mind podcast. Check it out. What's up, everybody? Welcome.
What's up, everybody?
You do that shit every single time.
Listen, man, I got to get us on the right track, all right? We got to have some energy behind this.
I guess so. But welcome to the Paranormal Mind podcast. We really appreciate y'all checking the podcast out. Hope y'all have had a good week so far. And how's everything going, man?
Man, it's going great. I am getting a little anxiety about the amount of work we have to do coming up, all the traveling, and it's a lot.
Yeah, so we're actually traveling to Oregon next week.
Yep.
And we're going to be doing some filming and stuff. And yeah, we've got a busy few weeks. So we'll be in Oregon next week, and then I'm going to be at the Michigan Paracon the following week.
Yeah.
And then the week after that, we're going to be in Louisiana for an event. So yeah, it's going to be busy, but we're going to be at the Gothic Jail doing a two-day event.
September 1st and 2nd.
So it's going to be a lot of fun, but it's just going to be busy. And then October, I'll be in
Scarefest,
the UK.
You'll be in the UK. I will be doing a local event the day that you're at Scarefest. So yeah,
that's true. So it's crazy. It's going to be busy.
Yeah, I got a trip to South Dakota to make at some point for an event. I think in like September.
Where's that? Is that Deadwood?
Deadwood, yeah. And me and you both are taking our Patreon trip winner over to West Virginia at the beginning of October.
Oh yeah, so that's going to be the old. What is it?
The old hospital on College Hill. That's what they call it. We've never been, so it was on our time. It was on our patrons bucket list, so made it happen.
Very cool. Yeah, so we're going to be busy, but it's a good type of busy.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's good to be busy.
Absolutely.
Like that. So anyway, we're going to be talking about the Hinterkaifeck Murders. Have you ever heard of that?
Hinterkaifeck. Never heard of it. So this will be great.
All right. Well, let's dive into it. So it's really a wild story.
Don't be saying any weird words for me today.
I've already said Hinterkaifeck, and
is it going to get worse than that?
It's going to get worse. And I'm going to be mispronouncing a lot of words, I'm sure.
Oh boy, Here we go. Don't worry, I have the sound effects ready.
All right. So this is a gnarly story from way back in 1922. So picture this. It's a remote Bavarian farmstead, 70 kilometers north of Munich, Germany.
I have no idea what 70 kilometers is, but
I don't either. Let's just say it's
close.
Maybe.
Or is it? I don't know. You guys can figure that out for us.
So 6 people, we're talking a whole family from a 2-year-old kid to a 72-year-old grandmother brutally murdered.
Oh my gosh.
And get this, by an unknown assailant. So they had no clue who did this. And 6 months before this craziness happened, they had this maid who quit because she claimed she heard weird noises in the attic.
Uh-oh.
So, thought the place was haunted. That they thought the place was haunted. So
haunted by a person.
I guess. So ghosts or not, someone was definitely messing with them. The father finds this random newspaper from Munich. He didn't buy it. No one nearby subscribed to it. Then he sees footprints from the forest leading to their property, but none going back. He hears footsteps in the attic, checks it out, and finds nothing. I mean, really freaky stuff. Finds nothing at all.
So he sees footprints.
He sees footprints from the forest, but none leading back. So it's like leading up to the house, but none going
Somebody
back.
hanging out in the attic is what it sounds like.
Well, he heard the footsteps. Like I said, he went up to check it out and nobody was there. Really weird.
Or maybe he just didn't find them. Maybe they're really good hiders.
maybe, but either way, it's weird, you know?
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
So March 31st comes around. They hire a new maid, Maria. That evening, someone or something lures most of the family into the barn and takes them out one by one with a mattock. Now, that's like an old school axe.
Oh, my gosh.
I knew you were wondering.
Yeah, I was like, what's a mattock?
Yeah. It's like an old school axe. So the killer then goes inside the house and finishes off the rest. So just takes them out one by one. The freakiest part, the killer didn't just hit and run.
Huh.
No, they stayed at the farm, fed the animals.
What?
Had some bread and meat, and just chilled there with the bodies for days.
Oh, my gosh.
The craziest thing. So 4 days later, people start realizing something's off when they don't show up for Sunday service.
Yeah, people aren't seeing them out in the community. And
yeah, so they check the place and discover the massacre.
oh, my God.
So the investigation, we'll go into that a little bit. It was total chaos, all right? So many people had been in and out of that crime scene, moving stuff, eating in the kitchen even.
What?
It was a mess. Like, they didn't really care. They just walked in there and
Yeah, it's
did their thing.
an active crime scene. Let me have a little dinner.
Yeah. So
Let me eat a sandwich for my break.
So they find a bunch of money. So robberies ruled out. So there was a bunch of money in the house. So nobody stole anything.
They didn't take anything.
Nope. Despite tons of leads, theories, and investigations that stretched for decades, they never nailed down who did it.
Whoever this was just woke up and chose violence.
Yeah, apparently. So suspects came and went. Crazy theories floated around. The case officially closed in 1955, but they had interrogations as late as 1986.
What?
Yeah. So this isn't just another unsolved crime. There were so many weird happenings around it. People seeing mysterious figures near the farm after the murders. A stranger confessing, then bolting into the woods.
A stranger confessing.
And then running into
off.
the woods. Yep. And an oven that smelled like something real bad was burned in it.
Oh, no.
It gives me chills even thinking about that. So if that doesn't make you lock your doors at night, I don't know what will. So let's dive into it a little bit about the suspects, okay? So there were some suspects, of course, with any crime.
Right.
You have people that you suspect. So let's start with Carl Gabriel.
It's always the quiet one in the community.
Yeah.
Is he the quiet one?
I don't know. We're about to get to that. He was supposedly killed in World War II.
What?
But whispers started going around that maybe he didn't die. Meanwhile, his wife, Victoria, has a kid, Joseph.
Okay.
And the rumors, they suggest either her missing in action husband or even her own father could be the dad.
Ugh.
It's just crazy. All right. And then enter Lorenz. All right, here we go with the words. Crap. So I'm going to screw this up. I'm definitely going to screw this up.
What did he say?
So enter Lorenz Schlittenbauer. Schlittenbauer. You say that 5 times fast.
Schlittenbauer. I can do it 3 times.
Oh, good Lord. The guy, well, you probably can say that because you had some good rest.
That's
Dummy.
true.
So
who's the dumb one?
Yeah. So the guy suddenly has a key to the crime scene. Out of nowhere, he had a key. He just nonchalantly walks into the house alone. Later on, he's talking specifics about the murder scene conditions. It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
So the dude just had a key.
He just had a key out of nowhere and then walks in and walks in alone and kind of checks the place out. Really weird. Now let's talk about the Gump brothers.
The Gump brothers.
Yeah. Their sister, on her deathbed, no less, implicates them. And that's heavy stuff. And the Bitchler brothers.
No.
The Bitchler brothers. We're like little kids.
We're not cussing.
We're like little kids. We're not cussing, but we're like little kids. We laugh at the stupidest things.
I got emphysema on that one. The Bitchler brothers.
All right, so the Bitchler brothers, their farm dog, known to bark at everyone, seems fine with them. Raises an eyebrow, right? So the farm dog that was on the property, that was the family dog.
It makes it like he was comfortable with them.
He was comfortable with the brothers, the Bitchler brothers. And just to throw a curveball, there's Paul Mueller. This guy was apparently on a murder spree in the U.S., and then a similar crime pops up in Germany. Is there a connection? It's one of those mysteries that just keeps you guessing. So he could have been involved. We don't know for sure, and they never really solved it.
Gotcha.
So let's talk about the legacy of Hinterkaifeck, okay? This place has been the topic of a ton of books and articles, like the ones by Joseph Ludwig Ecker, which got people buzzing again about the case. There was this documentary back in 1981 called Hinterkaifeck, Symbol des Unheimlichen.
It's okay, man.
Butchered that.
This is done. This is done. This is going downhill.
For anyone, I'm so sorry. Anybody listening, I'm so sorry. So, Symbol des Unheimlich. That's horrible. I'm not going to try that again. Holy crap. It was based on Lechner's work. It was regularly shown in Ingolstadt.
All of these things mean nothing to me because I don't know what any of it is.
Well, this is the legacy of Hinterkaifeck, okay?
It's such a legacy.
Yeah, it's a legacy. All right. So fast forward 10 years, there's a play and another doc about the murders, plus a radio doc and a newspaper series that dug into the story. In 2007, these police academy students took another crack at the case using modern techniques.
Okay, 2007.
Yep. They were pretty impressed with the original investigation, but man, they were bummed about the missing forensics, like fingerprints, for instance. They all zeroed in on a main suspect, but out of respect for his family, kept it hush.
Oh, okay.
Which is wild if you're wanting to solve any type of murder or anything like that, you would think you would still come forward.
I mean, I guess it depends if they were if they're just doing this as maybe a hobby because they're interested in maybe trying to figure out who it is. Maybe because they don't 100% know, they don't want to go out and just put somebody on blast, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. It's weird. So then in 2017, the book, The Man from the Train, took a swing at it. The authors speculated about this guy, Paul Mueller, who might have been behind similar murders in the U.S. We talked about him just a few minutes ago.
Gotcha.
They think there's a chance he might have been involved in the Hinterkaifeck case.
Okay. Was
it him? Well, it's kind of up in the air, but they're not ruling it out. So that's the Hinterkaifeck Murders. And we've only been recording, 10, 15 minutes maybe?
Yeah, we're at like 14 minutes.
Yeah. So I thought it was weird whenever I was researching it because people, even after the fact and even before, they were saying that the family beforehand were saying that there were strange things going on. There were strange footsteps in the attic. Never could find anybody, right?
Yeah, I mean, that leads you to believe that for sure there was somebody messing with them. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe. But even after the fact, people had seen like strange figures in the woods. Strange happenings going around on the property, even after all of this had transpired. You would think that if the murderer was not just hanging out in the woods after the fact.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, that's
know?
true. Or at least, I guess. You can't really put anything off the table, though, with somebody that would do something like that and then hang out and, like, have a meal and feed the animals around. I mean,
yeah, it's just
who knows?
It's just weird, and it's sad. Like, there's, again, doing a deep dive into a lot of cases and stuff.
Right.
There's so many out there where they're unsolved.
Right.
And we were actually doing like a true crime documentary about all this.
Yep.
About small town crimes. But it's crazy how many crimes are out there that they go unsolved. And we were also looking into the indigenous women and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a problem.
It's such a problem right now where there's so many out there that are discarded.
Yeah.
And then they're ignored. Like there's a lot going on with that.
You know, that's kind of why we wanted to do the small town stuff too, as far as, you know, murdered cases that go unsolved, because they can tend to get shoveled off in small communities as well. So, yeah,
I just, you know, I would like to pick up where we left off with the true crime stuff. Maybe if we can do some sort of documentary ourselves in the future to
absolutely.
kind of highlight that stuff, because we had something that had some wings, but with all the network upheaval stuff, it kind of
a lot of good projects are getting lost in the shuffle because of it.
Yeah, it went away. But I would really like to focus on the indigenous women.
Oh, me too.
And the things that are going on there. But whenever I was reading this Hinterkaifeck murder case, that was one of the things that kind of popped up. It's like there's always some sort of unsolved portion of everything, and then people, you know, they say that they focus on it, and then they say that they have leads and they have a main suspect, but out of respect for the family, they just decided to drop it. Are you kidding me? I mean, that doesn't even make sense to me.
It's weird to me too, man. Like in the paranormal world, how many like axe murder cases there are that go unsolved like this. Like it's really strange, right? I mean, mass homicides and
homicides.
Homicide, right? Homicide.
Homicides? What the heck?
I'm Southern, okay? What do you want from me, man?
I'm Southern. Hold up a minute. I'm Southern too, and I say homicide.
Homicide.
What the heck? You need
tomatoes, okay? I don't even know where I was going with that now.
You said in the paranormal world, there's a lot of homicides and stuff like that.
Yeah, specifically around like axe murders of like whole families and such. So
yeah,
it's kind of strange how they go unsolved, right? I mean, you would think those would for sure leave evidence behind as to who did it. I mean, it's got to be a gory scene.
Yeah. So what I was talking about with this case, with the strange footsteps, with the figures in the woods, do you have any explanation of? Would you even bring the paranormal into this at all? Would you say that it could have played a factor into this family's demise? Like, could it have played a factor at all?
My gut says no. My gut says that it was definitely somebody. However, I think the paranormal activity comes in after this, right? This is the catalyst.
But remember, the family were saying that they were experiencing paranormal stuff beforehand.
You can't ever really leave anything off the table. My opinion is that it was somebody very either very close to the family or knew their way around the family's home and was at least up to snuff on like what the schedule of the family was, right? So and because of that, the family just kind of overlooked the fact that maybe it could have been them causing all of this stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Well, and you got to think too, this happened, in 1920s?
Right.
So the methods they probably use to try to solve crimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm thinking from like, let's take the footsteps in the attic, for instance. Say the family member comes down and is like, man, I've been hearing things in the attic. Well, the person doing it, if they're close enough to them, could have been in that conversation. And they were like, oh, it wasn't me. And so then they end up not having an answer to it.
Well, I mean, I know there was one instance with this case where the father heard the footsteps and went to check it out right away and didn't find anybody there.
I guess it also, how often was that happening? Because if it became very frequent, then whoever was doing it was probably pretty quick on their feet and knew how to get in and out pretty easily.
And that's scary. That's scary. I know whenever... I mean,
that's scarier than any paranormal activity for sure.
I know whenever I was filming for the Netflix series, there was another story that was closely tied into the story that
you were telling me about that.
It was a serial killer, but he would I think he was called the Spider-Man killer or something. What he would do is he would hang out in attics. He lived in this attic.
Oh my gosh.
And he like camped out there for a long time, and he committed these murders. And he committed the murders and stayed in the same house where he committed the murder.
Didn't you say that he like spent some time at this place, or they speculate that he did?
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. He was in that attic undetected for years.
I mean, it happens, man.
That blows my mind that you can commit a murder in the house and then say, screw it, I'm going to stay here. Stayed in the attic. I mean, he was living in the attic before he committed the murders.
Gives me chills.
So this family was going through their daily motions with this person camping out in their attic.
Yeah, like meanwhile that person like knows that like their days are numbered, right? Like,
yeah, didn't even know about it, right? Then he commits the murders and then proceeds to stay there after the murders. And the police, the detectives, everything did not find him for a long time after that.
Man, there are like
that's so weird.
There's some TikTok videos out there where people have found like little like holes in the wall and stuff in their own homes.
Yeah,
and and once they find them, there's like, remnants of where people have been like sleeping there.
Well, that's
terrifying.
There was another story too. I don't know if you saw. It was reported. It was on the news where this guy goes on Nancy Drew, and all this stuff, and he's like, "Man, my 12-year-old or my kid's missing, and we've looked everywhere for him. We don't know where he is. It's crazy." And while he was live on the air, they get a report where his kid is in a secret cubby in the basement. And he's acting like he could win the Oscars for his performance.
Right.
But he's freaking out. He's like, what? We checked the basement multiple times.
Gosh.
So what ended up happening is it was all a ploy from him, the family.
To get attention.
And the kid was like, he went without food and all this stuff. Some weird things
What
happened.
is wrong with people, man?
The detectives and the police officers went and searched the entire house and could not find that little cubbyhole. So that makes you wonder how many. Go
check all the weird spots in your house.
Go check your house because you never know. You could have a secret room somewhere.
Something.
But it's strange to me that things can be hiding in plain sight. Like things could be right under your nose and you don't even know. Like the murderer here for the Hinterkaifeck murder.
Yeah. Like you don't know. He could have been in there.
Could have been camping out in the woods for a long time.
Watching them. I mean, that would explain how you'd be able to get in and out because he's been watching them for so long.
Right.
Which is just unnerving, man.
Right. And what if this person was camping out and got close with the family? Maybe it was the guy with the key that had a key to the house. Maybe he got in good, built a relationship, and then whenever he snapped, and then
that's the thing.
Took the whole family out.
He could have just what if he just snuck in and grabbed a key at some point and they just assumed that key went missing and he goes or maybe he takes it and puts it back even and goes and makes a copy of it.
But one thing that I don't understand about this whole story is they found footprints from the forest, but not leading back to the forest. So
to me though, man, like
that's weird to me.
Footsprints.
Good God.
Dang it.
And you're drinking water, or
Yeah,
is
I
that
know.
vodka? Good Lord.
Footprints. I don't know, man. Like, I don't feel like they could be very definitive either. And, I mean, unless it was like very like defined footprints. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if they could see them walking from the woods to the house, my only issue is this. Where did that person come from the woods? Like, where did that person come from to lead up to the house to go? Like, did he have a hideout there? Did he just wait? I mean,
I guess I just look at it from the perspective of like, if somebody did that in my house, right? Like, finding and tracking footprints in your yard would be kind of like, I don't know that you could do it.
What do you mean?
Footprints to your house and from your house, like, would you be able to like specifically find a set in your yard, you think?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you're looking for it, maybe. Like, we go through our daily motions and stuff. We don't really pay attention.
I guess if they were paranoid enough, but
well,
that
I mean,
could also have other effects.
Or if you're doing any sort of investigation, of course, you're going to look at the ground. You're going to see if you can find any weapon that was used or anything like that. So I guess if I was looking for it, sure.
Okay.
Like, I would probably look and see footprints and maybe try to match up, the prints at the bottom to see if it matches up. I mean, I really don't know, but I just find it weird if you have a set coming from the woods, but none leading back. Where did that person come from the woods? Like, it's strange.
I just think that they didn't find the footprints going back to the woods. That's my thing. I mean, people miss on things. I mean, you just said it yourself, even cops will search whole premises and not find the things that they're looking for. So it can happen.
It could be hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
But what about these strange figures after the fact?
Yeah.
And if there were strange figures in the woods, and if this is a person, if this was somebody that maybe was living in the woods or hanging out or camping out there, why?
Yeah. I mean, it's true.
It's weird. And then I'm curious, and I didn't research this enough, but I'm curious if there were more murders in the area after the fact or before the fact.
Yeah, that is something that's kind of true about that scenario. Like, if they never found out who it was, you would think this wouldn't be like a one-off situation. Like, typically people end up giving themselves up by continuing on the path. So,
well, and there was a lot of suspects too, but they couldn't pin it on one particular person.
I mean, it is possible that it was indeed one of those suspects, and they just never had enough evidence against them, like you were saying. So, I don't know. All I know is lesson learned, and check all the crevices in your home.
Crevices.
The nooks and crannies.
Crevices. The verbiage you use. The homicides.
It's like dynamite.
Homicides. What the hell, dude? Good Lord. But anyway, so thank y'all for listening to this episode of the Paranormal Mind podcast. If you could, we want to leave y'all with this. Go check out our sponsors, aliensodacompany.shop. They have a whole bunch of cool items, coffee mugs. I always say coffee mugs. Right. They got like shirts and
they have all kinds of stuff. Shower curtains, mouse pads, coffee mugs, shirts are a big one, of course.
Yep.
Check them out. aliensodacompany.shop.
Yep, aliensodacompany.shop. Also, go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/searchersbelieve. You can watch the video version of us being stupid like normal.
And we're very good we're professionals.
We're very good at that. You'll hear Josh say stuff like homicide and stuff like that.
Homicide.
But go check that out. And we give a bunch of stuff away all the time.
Yeah, we're getting ready to do a giveaway for a piece of paranormal equipment.
Yep.
Horn Paranormal.
Yep. So we gave away a trip, all expense paid trip.
Shoot, yeah.
So we're going to be, and we gave it away, and we're already going, in October.
Yeah.
So we deliver on it quickly. So again, patreon.com/searchersbelieve. Join the Searchers family and be a part of that, and you'll have a chance to win.
And I mean, the videos, seeing us be stupid is priceless, right?
Well, or seeing you be stupid and say stuff.
Okay then. All right.
I wouldn't say that I act stupid.
Oh, of course you wouldn't. Wow, 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 wow.
You don't have the sound effect? Yeah, I figured as much. You are always prepared, damn it. All right, well, thank y'all so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. And until the next one, Searchers out, guys.
See you guys.